Katursky is joining us from the Democratic National Convention. Good morning, Aaron Katursky.
Oh, good morning. What an incredible moment to have the mothers of the movement. It was a real emotional scene, McGraw, and it snapped the delegates out of their, I think, self-referential mood. They have been so preoccupied with the primary fight that finally culminated in that carefully orchestrated moment to have Bernie Sanders move to nominate Clinton by acclamation. Having these women up there whose kids had been killed in acts of gun violence or by police really served to remind the delegates what's really at stake here.
As you can imagine, we watched here in the region with interest because Leslie McSpadden, being Michael Brown's mother, was there. She didn't speak. I guess she spoke in some panel along the way. But the police here in St. Louis are asking, are there any family members of fallen police officers who are ever going to take the stage during the convention?
I'm not sure there are, and that was certainly something that the Republicans made sure to do as as part of their convention. Perhaps Hillary Clinton feels like she can speak to those issues on the campaign trail.
Yeah, interesting. All right, now, how much of a surprise was it that Bernie Sanders put her over the top?
I think it was probably coming, and probably the kind of moment that Hillary Clinton had some experience in orchestrating. She did it for Barack Obama 8 years ago, and now Bernie Sanders did it for her here in Philadelphia. He had given his valedictory speech. He had talked about his revolution continuing, but in many ways it may continue without him, and it almost felt like a send-off when they gave him 3 minutes of standing ovation. And Bernie Sanders, I think, came to realize that if he wanted to continue to have favor should Clinton win, he really needed to do what he did here at this convention. And what more could she really ask for? So Bernie Sanders came from the skybox, the VIP box, to the Vermont delegation and finally moved to nominate Hillary Clinton by acclamation, and that brought the crowd to its feet and gave Bernie Sanders one more moment.
Yeah, I also heard that, I guess, shortly after that or right before that, he lost his Secret Service protection, right? What have you done for me lately?
Well, he's no longer a candidate. And look, he was still a candidate. He had never suspended his campaign. He had always said, we're going all the way to Philadelphia. But the question was, well, what are you going to do when you get there? And he seemed to lose control of some of his delegates who walked out when Hillary Clinton was nominated, who said they are no longer listening to their guy. They are continuing a movement without him necessarily. And for them, it's beyond Bernie Sanders. It's about the grievances that he raised about the American political system. And that fight continues. It did leave a few empty seats in the hall, but it also served in their absence to make the hall unified around Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I thought a nice moment was when he teared up when his brother was talking.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
Democrats abroad, he lives abroad, and there were a few poignant moments like that. But look, Bernie Sanders, I think, came farther than perhaps even he expected. And you heard in the nominating speeches, how did this kind of curmudgeonly 70-year-old guy come to speak for all these young people around the country? And it was an unlikely candidacy, and one that gave Hillary Clinton a much more fierce challenge than she ever anticipated.
Bill Maher had the best line when he said, it looks like Bernie Sanders combs his hair with a balloon. All right, so the email scandal and the email controversy continues. The FBI is saying it's almost without a doubt Russia is behind this.
There's a growing consensus among law enforcement officials and other experts that Russia is behind the hack at the DNC. The emails were then published by WikiLeaks. There may be more to come. There may be some leaked recordings out there. All of this believed to be the work of the Russians. The debate is whether it was done for the explicit purpose of helping Donald Trump, or whether this was something else entirely. If it was done for on behalf of Trump, that suggests a degree of political meddling unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, all right. And then finally, President Clinton got up and spoke. How was it received inside the room?
It was an incredible speech, his 10th, and many feared it would just go on forever. And it started kind of in this folksy biopic kind of way where he tried to recast elements of Hillary Clinton's biography that the country may not have known. He talked about how they met and how he pursued her. But eventually the point was that Hillary Clinton is the biggest change maker he knows. He said that on the campaign trail. He also said that Republicans had made up a cartoon version of his wife and that Democrats had nominated the real Hillary Clinton. This was the kind of moment where the convention sought to pivot from the rancor of the primaries and to redefine Hillary Clinton for the more than half of Americans who still see her unfavorably.
Yeah, we only have just a few moments left, Aaron, but did that sort of placate the Sanders supporters? Are they starting to turn around and come home?
I think some are, and we heard from some of them, and some aren't. Some, left the hall and refused to come back and ended up holding court with reporters outside the convention hall to say they're never going to get behind Hillary Clinton, or at least not until she specifically meets with them, asks, apologizes for the emails and all of that. We spoke to Vice President Biden about all of this, and he said, look, the Democrats have to handle the Sanders crowd gracefully. Give them time, give them space. Many of them are new to the political process. In the end, Biden said he would never bet that a Sanders supporter would pull the lever for Donald Trump in the fall.
That's 2 days down, 2 days to go. Aaron Katersky will join us live tomorrow at 6:50 to continue the coverage. Aaron, thanks for checking in.
Thanks, McGraw.
6:57 KTRS.